Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this year Daily Go Getimism number 679 for August 12th, 2016. My birthday today. I had a nice day. I want to give a shout out to my people, always, coming through and representing and making sure that even anything that I play down, that they play up. And that's what family is all about, man. And tonight, we're talking about the way people are raised. Actually, what we're talking about, well, the title is, it's the way that they were raised. The way that you are raised says a lot about yourself. It's basically your label. It's basically your brand of person as you grow up. The way you were raised will tell people a lot about you without you having to say anything about yourself. The way you were raised will basically be the blueprint of how people relate to you as you grow into your adult life. The lessons that we learn when we're real young, and I mean when we're like from the time that we're babies to the time that we start to walk, the time that we start to learn, the time that we start to develop friendships, relationships, go get jobs and all of that. The way that we're raised will tell a lot about how we approach the world and how the rest of the world approaches us, to be honest with you. When you think about how a person was raised, if you've ever clashed with a person because of their upbringing. Now, I'm not talking about their upbringing being like, okay, how some people are raised to be kind of bougie. Some people are raised to think that they're better than other people, or that they're on a higher plane because they grew up with more money or status. Now, that's a funny thing for black people to do, because every time I've ever seen anything like that, now, first of all, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't like to think that somebody thinks that they're better than somebody else, quote unquote better than somebody else, because they may have grew up in a so-called privileged background. Because when you really think about it, as black people, how privileged can we really have been? Normally, the privileges that we take for granted are normally granted to us by white people. Just keeping it 100, y'all. Think about it. The black people that you know that feel or act like they are privileged are normally feeling that way because they were given access to the white world and so-called accepted. And that's what makes them feel privileged. Because it's not hard to make it around other black people. Think about it. I mean, what black people do you know can't find any type of black people to fit in? The ones that find it hardest to fit in are the ones who really want to assimilate with the other man. And don't get me wrong, I'm not even talking about, I'm not even on that black power shit right now. What I'm talking about right now is the differences between the way that some black people can or cannot relate to other black people. So if you've ever clashed with somebody who has, been very different from you because of their feelings of greater self-worth, because of their socioeconomic status and their granted access into a privileged white world, an affluent white world. I mean, with us, I don't feel like there's any room for that, because if only one of us or one family of us makes it out, that ain't good enough. And not only that, but if we ain't good enough for each other, if we can't make it so we pull each other up, then what good is that of being better? Better is such subjective word. But let's keep it moving though. Let's keep it moving. The way that we're raised says a lot about ourselves. So when we turn our nose up in the air at people that look like us, that act like us, that we should be able to relate to, a lot of times that has something to do with our upbringing. If you are raised to know that you are black and beautiful, and that regardless of whether you are blue, black, caramel, I guess that's caramel. If it's caramel, it's like caramel. Anyway, or light skin, red bone, light bright, almost white, whatever. If you are taught to believe that that's beauty, regardless of your shade, black is black, that's going to show because you're going to be more accepting of other people. But let's keep it moving. Other ways that people are raised. Some people are raised to be criminals, to be quite honest with you, and that crosses all racial lines. If you have been raised to believe that the only way to get over in life is to try to get over in life, so to always try to get something from nothing, or to become a reverse Robin Hood. In other words, you steal from the poor, and you'll steal from the rich. You don't care. You just give to whoever you feel fit to give to, but you always want to take instead of working hard for yours, instead of doing things in a structured way. And unfortunately, there are some of us who are raised to be crooks and criminals and handle our problems with violence instead of working things out and using your fucking brain. Just saying. It's the truth. It's the truth. Some of us are raised to be victims. So if some of us are raised to be very aggressive, then on the flip side of that, we have to admit that some of us are raised to take anything that somebody gives to us. So we're taught to run away instead of standing and fighting. Some of us aren't raised to face our fears. So we give in to our fears. You don't believe me? Then why is it that most parents who are afraid of mice or dogs or cats or animals in general, why is it that their children are afraid of the same things? I'm not saying that it happens in every instance, but it happens often enough. It's the way that you were raised. If you're raised to keep your body clean, to be up on your physical hygiene, your personal hygiene, washing your ass, then that's what you're going to represent. You're not going to be running around here like you're dirty. As a matter of fact, it's going to make you feel dirty to be running around here even semi-dirty. Same thing if you are raised to not be so clean. You be running around here like a pig pen. Mama didn't make you wash your ass, or you ain't wash it. Or you just washed it up a little bit. A little something, something. There's so many different ways that a person can be raised out here, but when it all comes down to it, the bottom line is the way that we are raised is the way that we attract people to us. So when we are faced with somebody that was raised in a totally different way, the harmony in our relationships is broken. So there's no symmetry. This is symmetry. Instead of that, we're doing this. We can't get it together. I think that it's a good idea to be accepting of other people. I think that it's a good idea to learn from other people. I think it's a good idea to experiment and be around other cultures so you can soak in some knowledge and wisdom. It works. It's a good look. I mean, but taking into consideration how you raise your own kids. Have you ever really thought about it? A lot of us raise our children the same way that we were raised. If we had a hard heart towards some of the lessons that we were forced to learn as like when we were children, we try not to make our children learn those lessons. But sometimes when we find the benefit of some of those lessons that we didn't want to learn, we make sure that our children learn it, even if we don't teach them in the exact same way. Unfortunately, sometimes there are certain ways that we are raised that are detrimental to our well-being. Like some of us are raised to be abusers. So if we were in the house, sorry y'all, if we're in a house where problems were handled with violence, then unfortunately we take a page from that book and we handle our problems with violence. And it's not just domestic. So out here in the street we haul off, we getting in fights and stuff like that. You know how I don't know about y'all, but I know when I see grown women talking about fighting, you know what I mean? I'm talking about women 30 plus, and they talking about, yeah, I had to beat that bitch ass, or we whooped that bitch ass. I'm like, 35 years old, 45. What do you mean y'all had to? What? I'm not saying that their reasons aren't justified, because maybe they are in their mind, but for our purposes, how can the whole scenario be justified? It's not something you're supposed to embrace, but this is one of the things that happens when you're raised to handle all of your problems with violence. It's not a good look. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, the way that you are raised, the way that you were raised is your brand of person that you are. So when people gravitate towards you, when they are friends with you, when they like you, it's because they like your brand. Your parents did a good job in raising you to be able to attract the people that you're friends with. And that's really what being raised is all about. That's how you either attract people to you or distract people from you. It's not always a slam dunk. UrbanTherapyWithSon.com. Hit the website, man. Get with this. Get with this movement. Get with everything. And if you see this video today, I mean, give me a shout out in the comments. Can I get a happy birthday? Turning 46 years old today, man. I'm feeling great. You know what I'm saying? I hope I can run off another 46, because that first 46 was faster than more. You know what I mean? I know the next 46 is going to seem like crazy. But I'll be happy to be there if I can stay healthy. You know what I mean? And enjoy quality of life. It ain't about the quantity, it's about the quality. Y'all have a great night. And by the way, I wish y'all a happy quality of life wherever you are. You know what I mean? I wish y'all good health and good happiness. Body, mind, and soul.